With me. Hi, it's Melinda. How are you doing today? And I am coming on to day 7 to talk about self-love. So let's talk about the dimensions of self-love. There are a few of those, and what do I mean by that? So it's talking about self-awareness. What are your needs? Listening to those needs. What are your wants? Also some tools that you can use. I'd like to have healing toolboxes, whether it's for PTSD, for health, and so on and so on, prayerful life. So things in my toolbox for this would be, for self-awareness, practicing mindfulness, journaling, making conscious decisions. Now also, dimension of self-love is self-care. Now with that, you're honoring your needs, okay? And it's not, I don't want anyone to feel guilty or to feel like they shouldn't do this for themselves. It's really good for you to have that time, again, even 5 minutes. So it's honoring, listening to your body, trusting your intuition, and creating boundaries for yourself, just for you. It's okay to create boundaries, and you might need to create these boundaries for maybe with family, friends, coworkers, and so on, and it's okay to do. Now, what is... Let's talk about other types of self-love and self-care. There is physical self-care. It's releasing that negative image, perhaps that imposter syndrome that you might have as well. Eating better, making healthier choices for yourself, releasing those negative self-soothing behaviors. Maybe it's drugs or alcohol, a poor body image. Maybe it's cutting. Perhaps it's also doing something else that's unhealthy, risky sexual behavior. And perhaps you can do instead maybe exercise, pick up a book, go and talk with somebody, which is so very important before you reach for that bottle or that whatever else it is that's negatively being a negative impact for self-soothing, for that physical self-soothing. Find something else instead to replace it that's more of a positive. Now emotionally, we want to have increased happiness. We want to have feelings of peace. You may need to seek out counseling and therapy. Again, there's no shame in doing that for yourself to get that extra support. There are so many websites, there's so many resources right now that we have on the web where you can even text a crisis center if you need to talk to somebody. It's okay to do that. Let go of things that are no longer serving you. Perhaps it's somebody that is in your tribe, in your circle, and they are just not filling your cup. They're negative. You notice that when you're with these people, you may be drinking a little bit more, maybe using the alcohol a little more, or maybe you have negative feelings about yourself or so on. You want to have some cheerleaders in your group to be able to cheer you on and to help you get through those tough times and problems. Now, when you have that lack of emotional awareness, of that emotional self-care, you might have that self-criticism. You could be doubting yourself, that self-doubt as well, neglecting your own needs. Releasing that dislike about yourself is so freeing. It really is. And once you're able to do that, it takes work. All this does take work. You may have no or very little boundaries as well. Now socially, I want you to feel good about getting out in the world. I do. I want you to try and explore new things. Go out on your own, even go and date yourself. There is something called solo dating. That's with my friend Holly. Look that up on Facebook, solo dating. And it's something that you can do for yourself. Go out for a meal by yourself. Take yourself for a walk. I know it all sounds funny, but do something maybe you've always wanted to do. Perhaps there is maybe a family member or your significant other, they aren't into antiquing or the art galleries or some of the music that you are into. Go by yourself. There's no shame in that either. This is going to be filled with no shame at all. Going out on your own, honoring your expectations and your commitments, and also encouraging. I want you to be encouraging to others as well. Be that person that you want others to be for yourself as well. So having that positive support system and those friends really can do wonders for you. Having also safe and positive friendships. As I mentioned, you want to have somebody that's going to be cheering for you as you make different milestones and celebrating with you. Now with your health, we're going to talk about health. We want to spend time doing things that make you happy, and if you don't know what that is, now's a great time to start figuring that out. I know for a long time I didn't know what made me happy. I was doing activities and different things that I thought were bringing me happiness, but once I left and started exploring after leaving that abusive relationship, I started realizing I really didn't like those things. They were just kind of filling the empty space, filling time, and I wanted to explore and do different things. So do something that you really like. Find something that's mood lifting, that if you listen to certain types of music, or if you read certain types of books, different television shows, and you can feel, I don't know if I want to call them triggered, but they might make you feel really down. They can make you feel even crummier before you started. I know when I left my ex, I watched every sappy, sad romance film that you can think of, and I sometimes would end up feeling worse. I really would. So watch something that's going to uplift you. Listen to music that's going to uplift you as well. Now, find some sort of tool, maybe if you have mental health issues, again, that counselor, that therapy. If you need that, please do so. Medication is okay if it's prescribed, not abusive. You will also, once you start doing these things, you will feel an increase its mood enhancers. There are increased energy. You'll feel like doing stuff, going out, doing things, going to different places. You might even begin to find different comfort skills for yourself, and I encourage you to find some positive comfort skills for yourself. Now, sensory, when you're doing your self-care and your self-love, doing something to help with the senses, lighting a candle, soft music, buy some silk sheets, comfy clothes, put on a special playlist, again, it's going to lift you up. You might need to use a weighted blanket, walking barefoot in the grass, taking in smells and scents, essential oils, things that are going to nourish you and nourish your senses as well. That dark chocolate, something like that. Something intellectually as well. So I want you to try to think about learning maybe a new skill, something you've always wanted to do. And this was actually something that I had mentioned a few days back, learning a different hobby and so on. Learn that different skill. Read books on a variety of different subjects, maybe not sticking with the horror books or thrillers or romance. Do something different. Read a biography about somebody that you've always wanted to know a little bit more about. Watch a documentary. Some of the documentaries are just so fascinating. I went through a phase where I was just watching, I was a crazy fiend for watching biographies and documentaries, and I really enjoyed, especially when I left, I don't want to say enjoy, but I was really inspired by reading other survivor stories. But at the same time, I had to watch that because they were really triggering me as well. So just be careful, be mindful when you're watching different documentaries, reading different biographies, especially if it's about a topic that you might be very passionate about. Now, join an online group or maybe an in-person group as well. Start doing some puzzles, some brain teasers, even video games. Now, with your work can be, you can actually do some self-love with your work, not working as much. Maybe you're a workaholic. Cut down your work hours. Learn to say no. Have those breaks when you need them, that vacation time, those weekends as well. Do some time management. Put on that timer if you have a timer. Ask for help. It's very important that you learn to ask for help. If you're one that likes to figure things out, that's different. But if you just take on that load, you take on that burden of whatever that project is, maybe other people are slacking, don't be afraid to voice your opinions. That's those boundaries that you might need to set as well. That, hey, I'm the only one, I need some help. Or I don't understand this. Please let me know how to do this. Don't be afraid to do that. But take steps perhaps to get a different change in your career. Maybe you don't want to do this. You've always wanted to do this, something else instead. Go ahead and start investigating what do you need to do in order to make that career change. Now get a degree in order to advance in a different career. Take a course that's going to also give you a little bit more headway in whatever it is you're doing. Now, spiritually, we don't think about too much spiritual self-care, but spiritual self-care can be exploring prayer, exploring different religions out there. Do your values and your beliefs line up with self-love? Find like-minded believers as well. Create a sacred space for your prayer and your worship as well. It could be a prayer closet. It can be going in the bathroom. It could be for you maybe in your cars where you find that refuge. But find that time to be alone with your Lord and your Savior as well. Meditation healing bowls, whatever, the healing sounds, whatever you need in order to help you with that spiritual walk. Now, that is a lot to take. That's a lot of investigation. So we talked about spiritual, work, intellectual, sensory, social, your health. That's a lot. Physical, emotional as well. Finding that dimensions of self-love with self-worth and self-compassion. And I know that also with all of those too, there's self-esteem as well. But I think these all go hand in hand with that. So what we'll be talking about next weekend is filling your spirit. Next Monday. So we'll tap into that a little bit more. So today, how does this look for you? How can you yourself, whoever's listening to this and watching this, what can you do today or for this week to start changing for that different types of self-love, the physical, the emotional, the social, the health, sensory. I know this is a lot, intellectually, work, and spiritually. What can you do starting this week to tap into each one of those, just a little bit, doing something, just one thing out of each of those in order to start your self-care, your self-love journey. And trust me, these all tie in together. Please join me every day. I've been having some sort of prompt, some sort of journaling as well. Now today I'm not having a journal prompt because I've just given you a bunch of homework to do. But again, anytime, don't feel that you need to have this completed today. This walk is for you to do at your own pace. It's baby steps. So if you feel that you need to take some time today just to do you stuff, you go ahead and do you stuff. But baby steps, please, I encourage you just to do one thing. Just do one thing today that might make you feel a little uncomfortable, that you actually might learn a little bit more about yourself. So this is Melinda from Hope When There Was None. I'm going to sign off. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Stay safe. Bye.